anime fanatics! Winter 2024 was a wild ride! We're talking about epic battles that will make gods weep, romances that will melt your heart faster than a snowball in lava, and enough isekai to make your head spin. So, buckle up, grab your popcorn, and get ready to dive into the top 10 anime of the season, condensed into bite-sized awesomeness. Number 10, Sukimi, Moonlit Fantasy, Season 2. Sukimi, Moonlit Fantasy has all the ingredients synonymous with generic isekai anime. An overpowered protagonist, strong female characters who instantly decide they need a master in a bog-standard medieval-style world. However, the show still manages to establish a unique identity, and it serves as a prime example that tropes are fine as long as they are utilized well. The anime's greatest strength is the characters, specifically Makoto, Tomo, Mio, and Shiki. While capable of destroying disaster-level threats without breaking a sweat, Makoto is nevertheless likable, largely thanks to his comedic sensibilities and the fact that he faces prejudice due to his looks. But he also has some flaws, even if they are not that detrimental. In most isekai stories, the main character attracts a colorful cast of supporters, willing to do anything to garner their leader's attention. While following this formula, Sukimi allows these characters to exist away from Makoto's shadow. Tomo and Miyu have arguably the most entertaining dynamic in this series, and feature prominently in action sequences. Season 2 is building nicely on its predecessor's strong foundation. Number 9! Seventh Time Loop, the villainess enjoys a carefree life married to her worst enemy. While not quite as popular as isekai, same-world reincarnation stories are fairly common when compared to other niche themes. And Winter 2024 has produced one of the most interesting takes on this concept after a long time. Riche, a noble woman, finds herself caught in a strange time loop. Without fail, she dies at age 20, always reincarnating a few years earlier, just as her awful fiancé is about to humiliatingly dump her. Despite living very different lives each time, Riche's path always leads to death, courtesy of a war started by a prince from a neighboring country. However, on her 7th loop, she runs into that very same man, starting an unexpected romance that will hopefully allow her to carve out her future. A strong premise means nothing if it's executed poorly or features bland characters. Fortunately, the 7th time loop cannot be accused either. Riche is a marvelous, confident, and proactive protagonist, one whose capabilities are born out of genuine experiences cultivated over multiple short lives. Mysterious, but also oddly charming, Prince Arnold is a fascinating male lead in his own right, and he has major chemistry with Riche. Number 8! Delicious in the Dungeon. Winter 2024 is overflowing with fantasy shows. As much criticism as isekai gets for being overexposed, the same can be said about traditional fantasy stories, which have become inescapable over the past few seasons. Despite having the most basic premise of any currently airing fantasy anime, Delicious in the Dungeon is also one of the most unique. This story follows a group of adventurers as they travel through a D&D style dungeon to find and revive a fallen companion before she is fully digested by the dragon that ate her. To avoid wasting time, they decide to turn the dragon's ecosystem to a buffet, which means they eat any monster they face. Not every party member loves this idea, but they have to embrace it. Delicious in the Dungeon is delightful. Trigger's show is both a brilliant fantasy adventure that captures the genre at its best, and a parody that lovingly pokes fun at its conventions. All the characters are endearing, and their camaraderie has produced some of the funniest banter. Also, surprisingly, the animation is fantastic. Number 7, Mashal, Muscle and Magic, the Divine Visionary Candidate Exam Arc. Mashal, Muscle and Magic had a decent opening season, but it fell short of excellence. Blending Harry Potter and Battle Shonen tropes, the story is set in a world where nearly everyone can use magic. However, Mash Burndead is an exception. Fortunately, he makes up his magical ineptitude by being ripped as hell, allowing him to perform incredible feats. To protect himself and his adoptive father, Mash joins a prominent magic academy with the hopes of becoming a divine visionary. Although fun, Season 1 lost steam as it went along, and his only memorable character was Mash. Consequently, Season 2 needed to flesh out the world, while also improving the supporting characters and introducing intriguing villains. Incredibly, the anime has managed to do all three. Number 6, A Sign of Affection. Winter 2024 sure loves a good romance, with nearly all the genre's efforts being at least decent. A Sign of Affection is a fantastic all-around effort that is an easy recommendation for any pure romance fan who wants a more mature story. Just to be clear, this series is a romance and not a rom-com. More importantly, the characters are college age and they act appropriately. Unlike most of the genre's offerings in manga and anime, A Sign of Affection does not waste too much time in bringing its main couple together. Yuki and Itsuyomi are the show's beating heart, and they share a cute rapper that has been steadily building throughout the season. As Yuki has been hearing impaired since birth, her world is quite small. Comparatively, Itsuyomi has traveled the world and he can even speak 3 languages. They have instant chemistry, and it does not take long for both of them to make their interest in each other clear. Even though Itsuyomi is opening Yuki's world, the latter is also introducing the former to something they have never experienced before. Number 5, Kingdom Season 5. With over 120 episodes under its belt, Season 5 is largely inaccessible to anyone who has not followed Kingdom over the years. Meaning, the show would not get as much attention as some other Winter 2024 anime. However, that has no bearing in its quality. Kingdom Season 5 covers the Kokoyu campaign arc, which finds Li Shin's unit being assigned to work with Huan Yi's massive army as they take on Zhao's forces on a distinct battlefield set in the forest. With the armies having fairly opposed philosophies, Li Shin and Huan Yi's forces have instant tension, and they are going into a fight that could go south almost immediately. In a few episodes, Kingdom brilliantly sets up the current storyline's key players, the terrain they'll be fighting over, and the central strategy that will likely determine the victor. Number 4, Classroom of the Elite, Season 3. Classroom of the Elite's 3rd season offers more of the same: mind games, academic contests, and threats of expulsions. All in all, fans of the previous cores will likely enjoy watching the current saga, especially since the anime is finally starting to present Onyankuji with challenges that threaten to stretch beyond his control. Season 3 has also pushed Arisu Sakayanagi and Honami Ichinos to the forefront more than before, and they are both fascinating characters who utilize different methods to wield influence over their classmates. Season 3 feels especially on rails, with the characters and audience being granted very little room to breathe. While perhaps not consistently brilliant so far, Classroom of the Elite Season 3 produced one of the show's most fascinating chapters yet. Episode 3 represented the anime at its best, delivering suspense, twists, and even a splash of humor. Trust me, it gets very interesting in its final episode on the season. Number 3, Ninja Kamui. An extremely late addition to the Winter 2024 season, Ninja Kamui is shaping up to be a thrill ride. Tracked down by his clan, a former ninja named Joe is left at death's door after watching his family being brutally murdered. However, he somehow survives. Naturally, his purpose in life is now to seek revenge, and he plans to take down everyone in his clan. As previously stated, there will be blood. Ninja Kamui's story has been fairly cliche so far, and the anime has yet to deliver any genuine surprises. Now, this could change in the future, depending on how the show blends its science fiction touches. But it has only amounted to some cool mecha-like armor to this point. With that being said, Ninja Kamui is just entertaining. Except for one other series, the show has produced the season's most continuously great fight sequences, with each episode including at least a couple of memorable battles. Number 2, Solo Leveling. Without question, Solo Leveling was the most highly anticipated Winter 2024 anime. With that being said, Solo Leveling's first episode mostly focused on setting up the world through some fairly heavy-handed exposition, resulting with an enjoyable but weirdly paced opening. Still, even if it mostly acted as a tease of things to come, the content was generally good. Fortunately, the subsequent episodes more than deliver on their predecessor's hype, and they do a great job of highlighting the story's appeal. Vicious, intense action, and likable lead with high power ceiling. After gates to fantastical worlds start to pop up around the world, people begin to develop special abilities, leading to the rise of the hunter profession. Split into ranks determined by their powers, hunters have no forward momentum. Consequently, an E-rank member like Sun Jin Woo is destined to remain weak. While on a mission in a D-level gate, a group of hunters decide to venture down a secret passage in search of riches. This proves to be a mistake, and Sung Jin Woo finds himself on death's door. However, he is chosen to become a player, allowing him to improve his stats as a reward for completing daily challenges. Solo leveling is a power fantasy that makes his protagonists work for their power, even if his growth is extremely fast. Sung Jin Woo is always pushing himself to take on threats that seem to be above his current level, which ensures most fights are not one-sided slaughters. The hunter culture is also quite fascinating. Number 1! The Dangers in My Heart, Season 2. The Dangers in My Heart was one of the best 2023's romance anime, and Season 2 could very well be better than the first season. Anna and Kyataro's relationship has completely transitioned from awkward banter to heartwarming camaraderie built on support and mutual respect. While they are not exactly an open couple yet, the story does not downplay their fondness for each other, while still acknowledging they are both trying to come to terms with their overwhelming feelings they are experiencing. Even without the romance angle, Anna and Kyataro's friendship is admirable and refreshingly grounded, despite being romanticized to an extent. With beautiful animation, earnest characters, and charming humor, The Dangers in My Heart is an all-around masterclass in character development. Romance is not always everyone's cup of tea, but this series is comfortably among the top winter 2024 anime, and a must-watch for anyone remotely interested in the genre. So that's it, folks! The top 10 anime of winter 2024, condensed for your viewing pleasure. What are you waiting for? Dive in and experience these epic adventures, heartwarming romances, and battles that'll leave you speechless! Until next time, keep it geeky!